Hi again. So now what I want to do is talk about the actual reading process and then the preparing to write the essay process that I think you guys should be going through. So I wanted to show you just an annotation, what I have done. A couple of things I do when I annotate a text, and this may look like a lot, but this goes really fast for me. Um, so, one, most often when given a rhetorical analysis, the best way to approach is to write your analysis in chronological order rather than writing a paragraph for each strategy. So instead of writing a paragraph about hyperbole, about irony, and about absurdity, you would write a paragraph about the beginning, the middle, and the end, and then analyze the strategies used to develop the meaning in each of those sections. That leads to a lot of different things. One, it can lead to a much more sophisticated piece, so you can get that coveted sophistication point, especially if you ground those pieces with some topic sentences that really kind of assert what the purpose is and how the author's achieving it. Um, that way, what you're doing is you're achieving a logical argument. Your rhetorical analysis is a type of argument. It's the exact mode is called process analysis. And so, what you're doing is you're developing an argument of your reading of a text, of your reading of the meaning, and you're using the text itself to support your analysis of the author's process. Okay? So as I read, you see that I have numbers, you see that I have brackets, I have squares, I have circles, and then I have all kinds of little, lines and arrows to my little aha moments. The reason that you see so much circling is because I do have this very amended process of annotating, which involves using shapes and things like that. So everything I've circled is something absurd. Um, Everything that might be, bracketed or like in a rectangle, like here, or, some of the underlining part is when it's actually the reality of that text itself. So the circles are all the absurd statements, and then the underlines or these little boxes here are kind of like the true nature of the text. As I notice very specific things, I label them, and I just do that kind of out of habit. But I also, as meaning is coming to my mind, as I'm thinking things, as I'm questioning, I'm kind of writing that out real quickly. And then the numbers in my mind represents sections of the text. So when I read, I really do look for shifts in meaning. So as the text unfolds and I can see, okay, we have this sort of beginning part, now I'm moving into another part, I start to number those and kind of put big squares around those sections. Because when I write my analysis, I'm going to hone in on this section rather than on the strategy. But in the section, I'll look at multiple strategies. Okay. Now, after I have finished reading the text and annotating it, and your annotations are up to you, marking your text, that is your process. You don't need to do that to please me. This is just the way I can really closely read. I can kind of unpack those layers, get past the surface, and quickly take note of all the things that I'm kind of recognizing and sort of coming into awareness of as I read. Now, here, the jot outline is something that I highly suggest everyone do. And I've said this before, but I'm kind of want to do this just as a review of last semester, but also for some of the new folks. Maybe these strategies are things you haven't learned yet, and they can help you. Um, and again, I've said it before, there are people out there that literally study the process of taking AP Lang and what students do to improve and to become successful. And one of the big things that they've noted is that students who did some kind of quick organizational thinking before writing their essay did better on the essay. Okay, so this makes sense, right? So, what I do is I kind of just jot out real quickly what I think the purpose is. It's not refined, it's just sort of me kind of putting into words what I think the purpose is. And what that does is it helps boost my confidence, it helps me have this kind of like thing to hold on to, and it helps me be bold in my writing. I call it kind of cocky, like when I go to start writing my essay, I want to feel like I kind of own the meaning, and I approach it with this just sort of bold nature. And this helps me get there. This also helps for those of you that get some testing anxiety or you feel your mind going all over the place when you're writing these because of the timed nature. What this does in a short amount of time, just a couple of minutes, it allows you to kind of ground yourself too and get all those ideas that are flowing, because of the timed nature, you're under this kind of timed duress, to sort of give it a chance to dissipate so that you can kind of try to use your time in a strategic way. So I just write kind of what's happening in the beginning. Sometimes it looks like a list of strategies and connected to some kind of meaning. And here, because satire is a little different, because you have to move from the surface to the critical first. You have to know what's being criticized, the actual thing that's being criticized, so that as you analyze the satirical aspects, you're not talking about it in such a way that it sounds like you're just analyzing a newspaper article. Okay. So you have to recognize that the purpose is to criticize something. And then each thing you recognize, you have to explain how that satirical strategy helps to develop that criticism. Okay. So it's a little bit different, but if you can't read my handwriting, here's what my jot outline looks like. And again, it took me just a couple of minutes to do this. So um, when I sat and read and annotated my text and wrote my jot outline, that probably took me roughly 5 to 7 minutes. And then adding in my thesis paragraph that I wrote. Here it is. Okay. And that probably would take me, I know that I wrote it in front of you. And how long was that video? It was 8 minutes. But if I had not been explaining how to do it, I probably would have done that in roughly 2 to 3 minutes. So let's say that entire process, reading, marking, jot outline, thesis paragraph, I got down in under 12 minutes. The suggestion is to write the essay in 40. So that gives me 28 really good minutes, like a good almost solid 30 minutes to write the analytical part. And that's what you want to do, maximize those minutes to be actually writing the analytical commentary. So I hope this helps. Thanks.